Hey guys, this is a follow-up video to the documentary. I have seen a lot of questions that you sent me on the previous video, and I think some of them are too good to ignore. So in this video, I will be addressing some of that, answering some of the questions, especially one question that said, what would I do differently if I had to start over? So basically they're saying, if I had to go back at 16 years old, how would I become a millionaire from then, knowing what I know today? Like what different, what can I do, what would I do differently? So that's a very interesting question. I mean, there's a few things I could do. Not much I would change, but knowing what I know today, I would get away with a lot easier, maybe make more money, have more time, and even have a much more exciting life. Number one, if I had to go back 60 to my 16-year-old self, I would have said, start working out aggressively, like physical fitness. I would have prioritized it a little bit more, and the reason is, I've now learned that if you don't make working out or training as part of your daily life early in your life, it becomes very, very difficult to do it later. And most people who are in very good shape, or some of my friends who are like really gym rats, they are that way because they have been doing it for a long time, and it's simply part of their life. And you might ask, like, why is fitness very important? What does that have to do with success? Well, having a fit body is actually another form of success. And also, if you are a fit person, you're physically fit, society treats you differently. So if you're like a small guy, like I used to be extremely skinny and small, it makes a huge difference from someone who is a little bit bigger. You know, you have you have a psychological advantage if you're fit, and the more fitter you are, the more strong you appear, the better in life. And if you go on social media as well, if you take pictures a lot, being fit really helps. And it's also good for your mental health. So back in the day, I didn't know that a cheat for days when I felt extremely stressed or anxious, I could have just gone to the gym and it was over. Today I know that, and I can easily do it just like that. The gym is a cheat code. Number two, what I would have done differently is I would have been more skeptical about people. You know, when you're a good person, you always assume that everyone else is just like you. I mean, likewise, if you're a bad person, you don't trust anybody. You just think that everyone is just as bad. If you're carrying a gun and you're trying to do something fishy, you would think that everyone else is carrying one. That's the problem. And I learned it the hard way. Some of you might know that one of my business partners, swindled me 200,000 rand. I still haven't gotten that money still to this day, because I was always trusting people. I always have good intentions. I'm not trying to harm anybody. So I also always thought that everyone is the same, but no, there are actually bad people out there who just have, like, it's their nature. In nature, they're just bad. And you have to be extremely careful with yourself to not associate with them, or at least put some boundaries, which is something I'm really good at. I'm not easily, it's not easy for me to sort of open up to people into my life. But in business, it's a little bit easier for me because I'm very business driven. And that happened, and I lost money. I sold some Bitcoin at the time, and I gave her 200,000 rand. That was a lot of money at the time. It's still a lot of money now. But imagine if I had kept those 2 Bitcoins today, it would have been worth lots of money, even more. So that was a hard lesson, but yeah, that's something to consider. Another one is programming. If I had to advise my 17, 18-year-old self, I would have said, go hard on your programming skills, improve in your programming, because the world depends on it. And if I had become a senior developer early, I would have made, say, 20 times the money that I have now, the net worth, simply because if you can program today, you can basically print your own money. So there's nothing else worth learning other than programming, right? So if I knew that today, I would have quit everything, focused on learning blockchain development, and 3 4 years later I would have been creating my own coins or NFTs and stuff like that, which I can now. But still, it's different if I had all the technical capabilities that I needed to basically do all those things myself. Because look, if you're young, you don't have money to hire people to do things for you. Like now I can just hire someone if I want to. But if you don't have capital, you are the capital, right? You and the time are the capital. So that is something that I would have prioritized. Another one is fashion. Being a nerd, you always spend much of your time improving your skill sets and your intellect. And I did very well of that at the young age. I read a lot of books. I was studying things that were really interesting to me and that maybe were not interesting to other people, and that always gave me an advantage, right? But I just never, at an early stage, I didn't develop a sense of fashion. I used to look down on it, like, oh, fashion, like I don't care about what kind of shoes I'm wearing or what kind of shirt. I don't care. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. He's wearing the same shirt every day. So that's good optimization, and that's something that nerds understand really well, geeks and nerds. But you realize that the more you tap into the world, you're interacting with people, especially if you're doing some kind of a business or you're trying to grow your career, you need to be aware of the social cues and how psychology works. People will judge you based on how you look, how you come across. And it's very important to develop a sense of fashion, learn how to dress well for yourself, identify what kind of clothing you look good in, and develop your unique style. Because as much as nerds like to look down on fashion, it's like every day you don't walk around naked, you're wearing something. So if you're gonna wear something every day, you might as well just make it interesting. And this is something that I would have advised my younger self. Now, there are people who do this the wrong way. Most people actually do it the wrong way. They put so much emphasis on how they look and dress, and they never really develop their mental fortitude, and that's a problem, right? So they look good, but they're dumb, so nobody cares, and also they don't have the skills and the mental toughness and the mental ability to do hard things in life to become successful. I don't want you guys to be that, but I'm saying that you need to develop a style, look good, smell good. This obviously touches into the first one, fitness, right? You need to go to the gym, and then you mix it with the fashion. It makes a lot of things easier. And lastly, the last thing would be women. Right. So I spent a little bit of time going to the clubs and all that just to fit in and to get women in my teen years and maybe in my early 20s. Not too much time, because I don't like to go to the club. I just don't like it, even to this day. But I would do it as a way to get women when I go out, because it is a socially known or acceptable place to connect with people and hang out. If I knew what I know today, I would have told myself that no, when it comes to women, you have to be the prize. If you develop yourself, you look good, you're fit, you know how to dress, you're smart, and you have the resources, meaning that you have money, you can provide, you don't have to do anything. The women will come to you. So today I don't need to go to the freaking club because I don't like it. So I'm not going to go there to impress someone or to pretend, just to fit in, to be part of the cool kids. I don't do that shit at all. I would never do it. Right? But I can now because I understand it. Like, oh, if I just keep on developing myself, being myself, becoming successful, looking great, things that are good to me anyway, well, the women will come to you. You don't have to try at all. And lastly, a bonus one is social media. I used to look down on social media just like I used to look down on fashion and things like that. But if I had to go back to my younger self, social media is very important. I would tell myself that build your social media presence, because it's basically free advertising. People pay for advertising since the dawn of time, whether through television, newspaper, and social media is a way you can develop and connect with people, create a community, and you can use it to advertise yourself or your own things, or basically connect with people that share the same ideas like you. Now, when I travel in every city, like I just landed in Zambia yesterday right now, by the way, I'm in Zambia. Hey, I just had some food delivered. Looks good. Some goat meat. And in every city, all I need to do is go on social media, say, I'm in this city. You guys want to meet up? Yeah, I'll meet some friends that I didn't know. I just met them through social media, right? And also you use it as leverage for work. These days, social media is important. So people want to work with people that have a social media presence. People trust you a little bit more. It's also easier for dating too. Like Instagram, for example, is one of those things. So having a level of influence is good. Do not shy away from it. Build it, create it. But you just have to make sure that it's coupled with some kind of value. Like you're a valuable person. You can do something. You can create something. You can help something. It's not just about taking pictures and then that's it. You know what I mean? And maybe I can give you another bonus one is time. So time preference. When I was 16, let's say when I was 10 years old, if you told me about 10 years later, I would have thought that, 10 years, probably Jesus will be back by the time we hit another 10 years, right? When you're young, time really, your time perception is warped. Because you haven't lived for too long, as long as you're young, you think that even 5 years is very long. But it's not a very long time. It's just that you haven't lived enough, right? So I would have made certain investments that are very small, like say investing $20 a day into something. That is an investment that's very easy to do and to follow through, but it would only make sense or be worth it when you look at it from say 20 years later in time, right? So it makes everything really difficult. That's all I'm saying. So you have to make sure that you understand that no matter what, 10 years will come, 20 years will come later, right? It's better for you to just start planning right now. The hard things like investment, they take time. Rather just start doing them early in small amounts. You don't even have to worry about it. It will only make sense 10, 20 years later, right? So I could have made certain investments, but I didn't because I was like, man, when I made somebody told me of an investment and they're like, in 10 years you do this. I was like, 10 years? Get the F out of here. I don't want to hear about 10 years. I want it now. Well, both mentalities are right, but you just have to be aware that time will come anyway, and you might as well just start right now. All right? So those are the things that I could have done differently if I had to advise my younger self, or if I had to start again. I would put those things in perspective. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Remember to subscribe to this channel and like the video for the YouTube algorithm, of course. All right? Peace.